How did you get here?
I'm always here, you stupid little moron. I'm the personification of your own twisted imagination, split in half to create its own alter ego that critically comments on all your actions, because if you were to voice them out personally, people would think you were some sort of loony.
Oh.
Why are you in a dark room?
You know, I'm just some Space Marines and, that kind of stuff.
That's just weird. You know, you should really go outside more.
Yeah, I go outside.
It doesn't look like you go outside. It looks like you just stay indoors and make models all day.
I mean, granted, maybe I don't go outside as much as I should, but, I'm a nerd.
Don't you have some kind of get-together, hook up?
Hmm?
Surely there's a gathering of nerds that can just get together and just idolize each other's greatness and the fact that you're all gigantic goddamn nerds. My advice would be go outside and live a little, you little arsewipe.
Yeah, I went outside recently.
I don't quite understand why I've been brought into this video out of your subconscious again to deal with this kind of stupidity when obviously you want to talk to these people about something that's on your mind, and you've just conjured me into being to make the beginning of this video slightly more entertaining. Why am I here?
And your point is?
Why don't you get on the topic about going outside for once in a bloody while?
You done? Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Elstonation. Welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to discuss going outside. I know, we don't go outside much, but we're going outside. The reason for this video is I wanted to talk about wargaming conventions and events, and I wanted to talk about, are they good? Are they good for the community? Are they good for people? Are they good for yourself? As much as you might think the instant answer is yes, let me just throw a couple of spanners in the works, because there's a couple of things. However, the overall resounding answer to this is yes, but there's some things you need to watch out for. So wargaming conventions are a gathering of effectively geeks and nerds that congregate together to celebrate tabletop wargaming. If you don't know what tabletop wargaming is, it's basically we get little plastic toy soldiers, we get them onto the board, we roll some dice, and then we take away the little plastic toy soldiers, which makes it sound very depressing life, but it's really enjoyable. Anyway, wargaming conventions are what I like to call a celebration of that. What you find is that vendors that make and sell will congregate together and they will show off their wares. Wargaming conventions are possibly the best place to find new minis. Hands down, better than the internet. I want to say that I'm 99% sure that wargaming conventions are better for finding new miniatures than the internet, because you can see them in person, they're right there, and you can pick them up and take them away, and you can see them physically painted as well, which is something great in comparison to the illusion a lot of the internet does, where you get masterclass painters painting something and you go, you can own this model, and so you actually sit there thinking, going, I'm never going to paint like that. So it kind of has a negative impact on like, oh, well, it's really nice looking, but I can't paint like that, so therefore I'm not going to reach for that standard, therefore that mini is slightly out of my reach. But a lot of the time these models are painted up by the creators themselves, by other painters that are maybe at closer to your level. I don't want to use the word level, but I did. Are closer to your standards of painting. With that in mind, it actually gives you a sense of, oh wow, that's pretty cool. I can paint like that, I can make that look just as good. And you'll see an array of all the models together, all painted, and it makes it something really special. Now that sounds a bit pretentious and it sounds a bit like, ooh, it's a special moment, but really, honest to God, it is. It is a really cool thing to see these models. And 9 times out of 10 when I go to a convention, it is so hard to not walk away with hundreds of pounds worth of minis that I will probably never paint or never get round to, even though I'm going to try Operation FAP is still in effect, but time and all that jazz. There is some kind of magic of seeing these things. Also as well, you will see vendors that you might not spot. The internet is such a vast place now with advertisements being thrown in your face left, right and centre. All of these model makers are all competing with each other to just get a little bit of attention to show their wares. Whereas at a convention, they've got all the time in the world, or all the time at that convention, and people can sit there and look at the models for a prolonged period of time. Now, not every model is everyone's cup of tea, but I guarantee you every model has a place in someone's heart, and these conventions are phenomenal for this. So let's just get that out of the way. Wargaming conventions are one of the best places to find new minis, alternate sculpts, just cool things, hands down. So let's get that out of the way. Second of all, Wargaming conventions are a great opportunity to meet other people, to talk to other people. As wargamers, our general day-to-day lives can be relatively solitary. We spend a lot of time just painting miniatures by ourselves, doing things by ourselves, and maybe we interact on the internet, we possibly go out for games, but in these conventions you get exposed to so many people, and it can only be a good thing. Little caveat on that point as well. Not always a good thing. We'll circle back to that. But you will meet like-minded people. You will find sculptors that are completely enthusiastic, painters that are massively enthused by all of their models and all of their wares, all of their game systems they're making. That's not to mention, yeah, you might find a game system. People will show you how to play these games. There'll be demo games, just interactive games where people are just playing games. You'll get to see cool things. It's hard to express how fun it can be going to convention. Not only that, if you're like me, I'm a southerner in England. A lot of my friends are up north. Now, when I say up north, I mean about 150 miles away. Going to these conventions is a rare opportunity where I get to see them, and I get to hang out with them, and I get to interact, and I basically get to hang out with my friends. And there's a certain amount of pricelessness that I'm going to put on that because it's just enjoyable. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, recently I went out to Valfest. This was a rare moment where a northerner came down south. Chapter Master Valrek came down to Cardiff, and that's my kind of territory. So I decided to go along and hang around. Now, I got to meet lots of people. There were a lot of wonderful people. There was a grumpy person. There was a ripped guy who was overly enthusiastic with Brought Guard, who was very loud. A lot of arguing going on, but they all seem to know each other and they all seem to enjoy it, so, well, all the power to you. I had a wonderful moment playing a game against a load of corn demons in my Titan, and we had a wonderful time them kicking out of my Titan, and it blew up and annihilated loads of them. It was a wonderful little moment. The rest of the day was just almost unbridled chaos, but that little moment was this wonderful point where I got to meet someone, we had a wonderful time, and I didn't know this guy. I might never ever speak to him again. But in that little point in time, it was this magical moment of, this is really cool, this is a lot of fun, I had a lot of fun with this game, and I think that is absolutely worth it. Also as well, going out to these conventions shows you areas and shows you venues you may not have experienced. For example, Valfest, I went to Firestorm Games in Cardiff, which is a phenomenal place. Oh my god, that is like wargaming mecca. There's a bar there, there's food there, there's beer there, there's snacks there, there's toys, there's bloody everything. That was just cool in its own right just to see that. So again, another pro to going out. Now let's talk about a negative. Going out, meeting all these new people, wonderful. There may be people you don't get on with, fine. I wouldn't class that as a negative, that's just life. There are people you won't get along with in life. There is, however, being in close proximity to a lot of nerds. Now, this didn't happen at Valfest, but this has happened at conventions. The smell can be like death. It's hard to put that into words. The closest thing I can put it into words is some people smell like they crawled out Satan's asshole. Oh my god. I don't know what's going on in their lives. I don't know. There are things called baths. There are things called showers. There are things called flannels, and there's a thing called soap. And it can be used to clean the body and make us smell better. Some people don't use these things. And oh dear Christ, why? Now I have to stop you at this point right now because the next part turned into a rant. I cannot emphasize that it turned into quite a disgusting rant. I'll give you a little bit of a clip now. Oh my god. It's like a cat ate a dead fish, then shat out said dead fish, and then rolled in it, and then went and rolled in a load of fox. Anyone that's got a dog or an animal that knows how bad the smell is of fox, you know, it like, physically makes me sick. I hate to go on about it a lot. Oh my god. So it was a little bit, to say the least, so I thought I'd change tact.
Now, regardless of whether or not going to these conventions is good for your health in regards to actual physical diseases which may infect your body and put you out of action for a couple of days, going outside for your mental stimulation, I think it is absolutely worth it. This morning I recorded a podcast with Josh from the Pickle Jar and Dave from MS Paints. Yes, believe it or not, we do a podcast called Wargaming Anonymous. I will put a link below so you can go listen to that if you want to. And we talked about this subject and how it might be stimulating for your brain and what it's like. It's basically a mental exercise. It's a little bit of a mental marathon for the day. Physically, you could say there is exercise. You're on your feet all day, but you kind of counterweigh it with the food that's available, which is usually some sort of cheeseburger and bacon. Now, in the podcast, we talked about what it was like, and talking to people and actually getting to meet people is a very good thing for you. And I think it's a really good idea that you go experience it. So now you may be wondering why the clips on the screen right now are me just painting up some Space Marines. That's because these models are going to ChillCon. I help run a gaming convention in Sheffield called ChillCon. We've been running it for the past 5 years. This is our 5th year, and I run a little thing called the Hobby Clinic. Now, the Hobby Clinic is a little bit of an escapism paradise. At the Hobby Clinic, you can come along and talk to professional painters, and they can give you advice on your painting journey, what you might want to do. You can see how they do things, get some advice, or if you just want to talk to someone, they are there to part their knowledge onto you. Now, this year as well, we're going to be doing something a little bit interesting. We're going to be bringing in some guests. During the day, there will be professional painters to talk to, but between 1 and 2, we will have some guests from YouTube influencers, air quotes there. We're going to be having the wonderful Josh from the Pickle Jar. Now, Josh, being Josh and being a good friend of mine, he may be at the Hobby Clinic all day. He might not be. We don't know. He is going to be there, but he's going to be there between 1 and 2, so if you want to come along and say hello, he will be there. We also have, for the first time, Ben from Benji's Hobbies. He's going to be coming along to say hello. If you want to come along and shake his hand, he'll be there. We've also got the wonderful Dave from MS Paints. I believe Hector will be attending as well, so if you want to ogle over him, he will be there to talk to. And new attendees as well, we have Pat and Peachy from the painting phase coming along again to talk to. So a little bit of a star-studded cast. I was asked if I was going to be on the panel. Possibly, I might be. I'm there to look after everyone, so I will be there to talk to as well. So, if you're in the Sheffield area on April the 1st, please come along and say hello. It's going to be a wonderful day. Hopefully we'll have food this time, because last time was a disaster. This time, hopefully we've got food, and a food van doesn't explode on the motorway. Anyway, so that's it for this one. Those Space Marines are going into the speed painting competition, where you can paint a Space Marine in 20 minutes and the best person wins. There's also a painting competition and various other activities on the day, so please come along, say hello. We're all going to be there. It's going to be a great day. And that's it for this one. There's not much more. I've rambled on enough, and the narrator's giving me a complex. So I'm going to go cry in the corner for a bit. Till next time, everyone, be good, be safe, and hopefully I'll see you at ChillCon. Till then, bye-bye. Sometimes I've been at Salute and you've been stood in a queue. Nerds seem to congregate and want to get closer to each other. Actually, no, sorry. They want to get to the head of the queue and they can't surpass the urge to move forward and just slowly sandwich themselves up against the other person that's in front of them because it's going to get them a couple of inches closer to the beginning of the queue. Right, one, if you've ever done this, if you're ever guilty of this, I'm telling you now, please fucking stop it, please, 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 just stop it. The queue will just move at its own pace. You don't need to get closer. Personal space, people. Personal space.